Yeah, Guardians win last night. The final is 9-4. Both starting pitchers were actually really bad. Cam Schlittler, who's been one of the best pitchers in baseball this year, the Guardians smacked him around nicely. And Joey Cantillo's going through it right now. He is not pitching well. Yeah. His walk rate, I want to say in his last 4 starts, maybe it's 5, I can't remember exactly. His walk rate's been terrible. He was really bad. He was lucky he only gave up 4 runs. 10 base runners. Remember, the Yankees didn't even have Aaron Judge because he's back. I bet you he's going to miss this whole series, which is a huge benefit for the Guardians. Do we have his walk total? Can we look up his walk total? Because his walk numbers are terrible, especially lately. So, listen, I was predicting a big year for Joey Cantillo. Got off to a great start, but he has really struggled lately. But the Guardians bailed him out. The difference in this game, obviously, the offense and the bullpen. While the Guardians' bullpen was lights out, I think the Guardians' bullpen didn't give up any runs.
He had 34 walks this season so far.
Does that include yesterday?
This is ESPN updated, so it should be.
Yeah. So 34 walks in 62 innings, was it? That's terrible. That is a horrible, horrible number.
This Schlittler guy has been pretty good, right?
He's been fantastic.
So this has been
not even
kind of remarkable that the Guardians were able to knock him around.
Not pretty good. He was the favorite to win the AL Cy Young. He had allowed, before last night, he allowed 12 earned runs all season.
Yeah.
In 6 starts in May, he allowed 5 earned runs.
Yeah, he's been
in total.
Yeah.
And he allowed 4 earned runs last night to the Cleveland Guardians.
Didn't Jose have 3 doubles last night?
He did.
Getting hot.
I like
Manzardo hit a home run.
Get hot, baby.
But I thought the most impressive at bat the entire game last night, Bull, was Bazzana with the bases loaded.
Yeah.
8th inning against Doval. Is Doval?
Doval.
Doval, yeah.
idea.
Down in the count.
Camilo Doval.
Was 0 for his last 8 before. Bases loaded. 101 on the inside corner, and he turns on it, and it wasn't a simple single.
Yeah.
Rolled into the corner, ended up getting 2 out of it because of the weird dimension at Yankee Stadium. But for him in that moment, on that stage, against a pitcher that throws heat like that, to stay back and get his hands in, just enough to send it over the first baseman's head, it's a damn good piece of hitting.
Yeah, a lot of people owe or may owe the Guardians an apology because people were killing him in the beginning of the year. Oh, it was a bad pick, and I don't know. Right now, he at worst he'd be your 3rd choice out of that draft behind Kurtz, and Kurtz has done it a lot longer. He's been excellent, and what's his name, Chase Burns,
Cincinnati,
who's been sensational for the Reds. But outside of those two, I mean, I know Weatherholt's been fine and some of these other guys, but Bazzana looks so legit. I mean, he's been absolutely incredible. I think he had 4 ribbies yesterday.
4 ribbies yesterday, yep.
Yeah, and as you said, Jose's starting to get hot. They need him to be a superstar.
Oh, yeah.
For their offense to be as good as it can be, Jose's got to be a superstar. Manzardo's got to play at a borderline all-star level. He's played much better lately. Quan had a couple of hits yesterday, so maybe he's going to get going.
His average is up to 213.
Yeah. The OPS is getting to 600. We're getting close to 600. It's hard for him to raise it a lot because he's a singles hitter. And OPS, extra base hits can raise your OPS a lot quicker. And he's not a big extra base hit guy. But with some of the veterans that we had expectations for starting to come around, and I'll tell you something else. The Guardians bullpen is really pitching well now. They did a great job yesterday.
Well, they were bad against Boston. Saturday and Sunday they were bad.
Outside of those 2 games, you're right, that's fair. Outside of those 2 games, they've been overall for the last month pitching well. Colin Holderman, who pitched yesterday, got the win out of the pen, has been a find. He was kind of like a journeyman back end of the roster guy with Pittsburgh, and he's found a home here, and he's made a nice addition to the bullpen. On my podcast this morning, I was asked a bunch of questions about acquisitions. And around this time of year is when trades start happening, like June. We saw the Guardians make the Patrick Bailey trade in May, but June is when you have the trades really start to pop up. And I like to throw out some names. And who was the guy? Well, last year I was talking about who was the guy I was talking about a lot?
Teoscar Hernandez.
No, I can't remember. Anyway, before the year, I was talking about Gleyber Torres. But just a couple of names I want to throw out there. First of all, starting pitchers Freddie Peralta, who's on the Mets. The Mets are terrible, and he's a free agent at the end of the season. I think he'd be a good addition as a third, fourth starter for them. He's been better than that in the past. He was great last year. He's been okay this year, but I like that guy. Hitting, I would love to see them go after Jarren Duran of the Red Sox, who's having a little bit of a down year, but in terms of OPS, but he's got double-digit homers and double-digit steals.
Good defensive center fielder, too.
And a good defensive center fielder. A cheaper option in terms of hitters, Jorge Soler of the Angels, who's got over 1,000 career OPS in the postseason, including with the Cubs in 2016. And he's had some success with other teams since then. And he'd be a cheap guy to get.
He was in the Braves for a while, right?
Yes,
yeah, okay.
He played with them in the playoffs too. I think Tampa Bay maybe too. But he's always been a clutch performer. He's on the Angels. They stink. He's a free agent at the end of the year. He'd be another guy to target. Maybe Taylor Ward of the Orioles. And out of the bullpen, here's some names to keep an eye on. Peter Fairbanks from Miami. Brian Abrow from, I don't feel like I'm saying his name wrong. He's been the catcher. He's been the catcher for the
I thought you were on the bullpen.
What's that?
I thought you were on the bullpen, guys.
Yeah, I'm sorry. He's been the setup man.
You're losing it.
For Brian Abreu, that's right. He's been the setup man for the Astros, and finally, the lefty on the Padres.
This is great.
This is riveting,
This
man.
is great TV.
I'm sorry. I'm forgetting names. I'm getting old here, folks. I'm turning 55 tomorrow. But I'm getting old. There's Adrian Morejon for the Padres. Anyway, those are some names to keep an eye on. People are the diehard Guardians fans, unlike you guys, are interested in these names.
I was interested in the names.
I couldn't think of the names.
I just wasn't interested in
because I was drawing a blank there for a minute. But I came around, Brian Abreu and Adrian Morejon. These are names. They're all free agents outside of Duran. They're all free agents at the end of the year. So the acquisition cost won't be that high. It might be a little higher for Peralta because he's a really good pitcher and people will be interested, even though he's not having a great year. I'll throw in Robbie Ray there as well, but he's making a lot of money. The Giants would have to pay off most of his contract. But those are all names to keep an eye on.
I do appreciate the names.
Yeah.
Tonight's pitching matchup, though.
Yeah. Great. Can't wait to watch it.
Guardians got some hits and some runs off Schlittler. They got Garrett Cole tonight going for New York, and Gavin Williams, who's been awesome lately.
Yeah.
When I watch Gavin Williams, he reminds me a lot of Garrett Cole.
He's built physically like Cole. Not quite as big, but
different
close.
Wind-ups. The motion isn't exactly the same, but just powerful, big dudes, can paint the corners with 98, 99-mile-an-hour fastballs. And if you're a fan of, watching some of the best and the best do it in any sport, this is a matchup that you better be watching tonight. It's on Guardians TV and on Prime. So
I'm excited. I don't have a game or a practice tonight, so I actually can sit and watch the entire game instead of jumping in a couple innings late. This game is great. Garrett Cole is what Gavin Williams wants to be. Garrett Cole, it's amazing. The guy hasn't pitched in a year and a half. He comes back. He's thrown 12 shutout innings so far.
Throwing dots.
He is amazing. 12 Ks and 12 2/3. He's barely given up any base runners. But you look at Gavin Williams' numbers, they're sensational. 88 Ks in 76 innings is lights out. The ERA barely over 3. A whip under 110 is great. I don't care about his record, but it's a good one. This is a great. If you're going to watch a baseball game, tonight's the night to watch it. And I don't even have any problems. A lot of nights it's like I want to watch the Cubs and the Guardians. But right now the Cubs are disgusting me because they're playing so bad for the last 2 weeks that I refuse to watch them. So I don't even have to go back and forth.
This is the best game in Major League Baseball tonight.
This is definitely the best game tonight. And after beating up Schlittler, hopefully they'll hand Cole his first earned runs of the year.
Did you see Jose's numbers at Yankee Stadium in his career? I know you mentioned
him yesterday.
Yes, in the show they made a graphic on the broadcast
did it again yesterday.
Three doubles. He's in over 400.
Yeah.
With an OPS over 1.300.
Yeah.
In 36 games now, he's got 9 homers and 23 ribbies at Yankee Stadium.
He's like Barry Bonds at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah.
That's what he is. He owns it. It's a great ballpark. If he had played his whole, thankfully he hasn't. But if he had played his whole career for the Yankees, I can't even imagine what his numbers would be, because that stadium is so friendly to his type of swing. When he hits left-handed.
He'd have an MVP award if he played at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, probably. It's funny. He's never won an MVP. Probably never will win an MVP, and yet he's finished in the top 6 of voting more than any other player over the last decade, including Aaron Judge and Shohei. Well, it might not be Ohtani anymore.
I think Ohtani may have passed him.
No, I don't think he has yet, but after this year he will, because right now Ramírez is not on pace to finish in the top 6.
Who would you say has been the Guardians MVP this year, real quick?
Good question.
We can do it as a topic tomorrow.
I would say...
We'll do it as a topic. Hold your thought. We'll do it as a topic later this week.
It's a tough call. There's a few guys, but I would say pick one of the pitchers.
All right. Well, on Friday.
I'll say that. I'll tease
You ready
that.
to give us your answer? Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So you guys locked into the game
name
tonight?
Start with a P?
No, it doesn't, believe it or not.
Okay.
Are you guys locked in tonight?
Yeah, we have Guardians at 7:05, and then game 1 of the finals is at 8:30. So great night of sports on tap. He's got his tennis.
Yeah, I'll be home late,
tennis,
but I will definitely be watching the second half of the finals.
I am not putting the Knicks game on until the Guardians game is over. I'm locked in for every pitch on that game
Split
tonight.
screen.
No, I'm not interested. I want to be focused. I don't really care. And I'm only going to miss the first half anyway. The game starts at what time?
8:30.
So it's not going to start until 8:45.
No, it's ABC, so that's 12 minutes, so 8:42.
The Guardians game will be over before halftime.
Yeah,
I'll watch
it'll be a three-hour basketball game.
Who
2.5,
am I? You know what? I'm not.
It
even
might
gonna
start
watch
later
this
than
game.
that.
I'm full of crap. I'm not going to watch it. As soon as Aaron and I are.
It's the finals. You're not going to watch the finals?
It's the Knicks.
I don't care. I don't care about the Knicks.
It's
They're not my team.
It's Wemby.
Dude, it's sports.
I'm keeping it real. I don't want to watch it. I would watch it, but right now Aaron and I are binge watching The Boys, and as soon as the Guardians game is over, we're going to watch another episode. You can stay up as late as you want. School's over now.
Being a good father, all right, I can't.
I don't know if I'm being a good father, letting him stay up late to watch people kill each other, but
I can't.
I mean, I'd have my son watching the finals with me instead of the
yeah, he
boys.
does. He's not interested in the finals. He don't care.
He doesn't care about Wemby.
Doesn't
Wemby
care.
hasn't transcended into that younger generation.
Doesn't care. I mean, maybe some of his friends do, but most of his friends are not that into sports. Like, they like to play, but he doesn't have many friends that are diehard, like, watching the games.
Interesting.
A couple of them will like ask me about, but like the other day we were right before our game, was it Monday when Miles was traded, right?
Yeah.
So we had a game Monday. And right before the game I said to the kids, Myles Garrett got traded. And outside of, there was like one kid who was like, what? Blah, blah, blah. The rest of them were like, whatever. They didn't really care.
It is what it is.
And these are kids who play ball. They like playing ball, but